Just when you thought there was no more Dalvin Cook news, well, he goes on Rich Eisen. What is up, Finn fans? We got some Dalvin Cook updates. And some of you guys are probably like, I'm sick and tired of it, Doug. We're not getting Dalvin Cook. And for those people, I'm sorry. I guess you should watch the first couple minutes of this video because I'm going to talk about the Buffalo Bills, and then you'll probably just have to, just click off if you don't want to know the updates. But they're pretty juicy. Pretty juicy. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on all of that stuff. Yeah. So, but real quick, Buffalo and Stefon Diggs are in a hell of a turmoil. He is not at mandatory minicamps, and the head coach said that it is concerning. And we all saw what happened last time. Him and Josh Allen were together in the playoffs. They were very mad. He's very mad at Josh Allen, and I don't know what's going on there, but something's a brewing between Stefon Diggs and Josh Allen. So we're going to leave it at that. So let's jump into this Dalvin Cook information and update. I'm not going to play the recordings for you. I'm just going to read the transcript because Omar Kelly came out with a fantastic article, and he has a lot of the transcripts on there. He says there's a short list of NFL tailbacks who are more potent offensive weapons than Dalvin Cook, who the Minnesota Vikings made a free agent last week by releasing the 4-time Pro Bowl tailback. Some, like Derrick Henry, might be better runners, but only Nick Chubb, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, and Alvin Kamara are in Cook's stratosphere when it comes to being a dual threat weapon in the NFL. And that is why I want him on the Dolphins so bad. I understand that Mostert and Wilson, and especially the potential of Devon Achane, is really good. But you have the ability to add a guy who's a top 5 running back in the NFL, and not only in running but also in catching. I don't understand why that's such a fight between some in the fan base. This is why the argument could be made that Cook, who's coming off his 4th straight season of rushing for more than 1,100 yards, remains one of the top 10 tailbacks, if not a member of the top 5. The 27-year-old told Rich Eisen he plans to show the NFL that he's far from washed up when he finally lands with his new team. Now, this is what Dalvin Cook says. Whoever gets Dalvin, they know what they're getting. I'm going to be a great team player, a great teammate, and a great person in the locker room. I'm just ready to get to go run the rock and help somebody win games. To me, that seems like a really good fit for the Miami Dolphins. Cook described his free agency as a waiting game. Expounded on that by saying he's trying to find the right situation. Cook admitted he's been hit up by a ton of players the past month while exploring his option. Teams can officially begin negotiating with Cook, and most of the NFL expects the Miami Dolphins to be among the bidders. What is Cook looking for? But real quick, to the waiting game part before we jump into what Dalvin Cook said he's looking for. It's 100% a waiting game. There's no need for him to rush, and there's no need for the Miami Dolphins to rush, right? Has there been talks between him and the Dolphins? Probably. Have they thrown numbers at each other? Probably. Do they know where they are both standing? Probably. But there's no rush. The Dolphins don't hit training camp until the end of July. So it's not like, oh, Dalvin, we need you in now so you can learn it and blah, blah, blah. The season starts in a month. There's none of that. Dolphins are like, all right, do what you got to do, Dalvin. Know we're interested, and let's come to an agreement. But do what you got to do. He's going to test the waters. He's going to talk to people. I told you guys this stuff May 31st when I made that video. I told you guys it wasn't going to be an instant thing. It's going to be, it's going to take a hot minute. I told you guys that. So for people who wanted it to be like right now, I told you. This is what Dalvin Cook said. I want the value. I want somebody that values Dalvin Cook. I want somebody that wants me there, somebody who wants to give me the ball. I want to be in the right situation to help somebody win. Also, he says, the money is going to come. You play good and they're going to pay you. I want to go somewhere and feel like I'm home for me. Go somewhere and help somebody win. Just turn it loose. I'm looking for a home. Let's break that down. I want value. I want someone that values Dalvin Cook. I want somebody that wants me to be there. I want somebody that's going to give me the ball. I want to be in the right situation to help somebody win. Now, a lot of people hear that and go, well, the Dolphins have to spread the ball around to Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and then the backfield, da-da-da. So it's not the Dolphins. Dolphins are out, blah, blah, blah. If you think the Miami Dolphins won't add Dalvin Cook and not get him the ball, you're out of your mind. Well, Dolphins, what if Mike McDaniel backs out of him saying he's going to run the ball a lot and he throws it a lot? Dalvin Cook is a versatile dual threat running back. And again, the Dolphins run the 21 formation 34% of the time. I don't know how many times I've had to tell people that the Dolphins run the 21 formation 34% of the time, and that the Dolphins will get more money if they extend Christian Wilkins and Connor Williams. I have had to say that like so many times. People think that if they sign Dalvin Cook, they're not going to be able to extend Christian Wilkins, Connor Williams, Robert Hunt, or Zach Sealer. Extending them saves cap space. Look at what the Bills did with their defensive tackle, and then they picked up a pass rusher. You see what I'm getting at? You see what I'm getting at? And then he says the money's going to come. You play good, they're going to pay you. I want to go somewhere and feel like it's home for me. Well, what better than Miami, where your home is? Go somewhere and help somebody win. Just turn it loose. I'm looking for a home. Well, you already got one, my man, because you already live in Florida. I will say this, though. A lot of people talk about that Dalvin Cook wants this amount of money and Dalvin Cook wants that amount of money. Let's see if we get there, because I have a rebuttal to that, right? So I'm going to keep going. Those comments hint that Cook isn't just looking for a bridge contract, which is what players are available so late in the offseason receives. A bridge contract is like a 1-year contract. Think of like what Raheem Mostert got last year with the Dolphins. Established NFL players will, with leverage, rarely sign 1-year deals because those type of contracts fail to protect them against injuries. So don't be surprised if Cook signs a 2-year with the intent to come back to the table in 2024 for an extension, especially if he's still an NFL pace setter when it comes to productivity. And I said that. I've said it time and time again. That's what the Dolphins do. That's what Brandon Shore and Chris Greer do. They'll probably give him a 2-year contract, give him nice money with an option out the second year. But then if he does well, then they can extend it, clear more cap space off that 2nd-year contract to do other things and keep him on the team for another year or two. I'm telling you, me and Omar are on the same page. But I will say this, right? This was reported because a lot of people think that he wants $10 million, he wants $12 million, he wants all that stuff. This was reported. Ian Rappaport just stated on the Rich Eisen show that he believes Cook will sign for somewhere around $6 million per season. Anything more is great job by Cook. Reason talked about that. If you check out Finside the NFL, Reason talked about that yesterday, where he said you go anywhere from 6 to 7 to maybe 8, you're getting Cook. He'll come here. He stated Miami and Denver are 2 candidates, adds in any team that is one piece away could use Cook. So again, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get or wants to get $10 million a year, especially with not giving if you remember he said he's not going to give a substantial discount. Doesn't mean he won't give one. So the Dolphins could possibly land him with a 2-year deal for about $20 million, where he gets about 6 or 7, and then they can move on from the 2nd year. But I'm going to get to that. So then Omar Kelly says, so here go the Dolphins signed Chase Edmonds to a 2-year deal worth $12.6 million, which featured $4.1 million signing bonus. Edmonds, who struggled in Miami before being traded to Denver as part of Bradley Chubb deal, is far less established than Cook. Yeah, I'm hearing that too. I'm hearing a lot of people compare Chase Edmonds to Dalvin Cook in this situation. 2 different situations. The Dolphins could sweeten the deal by offering more of a signing bonus and adding contract escalators for yardage, touchdowns, and possibly a Pro Bowl selection in 2023. Omar is getting it. He's on the same page as me. There's so much that they can intel into the contract, so much incentives, signing bonuses, that it won't hurt this year's cap. And they could still do what they need to do. And then Dalvin Cook feels wanted. Don't expect the fact Miami re-signed all four of the last year's tailbacks, Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Savon Ahmed, and Myles Gaskin, to prevent the team's decision makers from making a deal with Cook and his camp. Ahmed and Gaskin aren't guaranteed to make the roster, and their release would clear $2.4 million in cap space. Put that towards you know who. And Mostert and Wilson are accustomed to sharing the backfield. Omar gets it. This is what Rick Spielman had to say. He says he's an explosive player. He runs physical. He's always gaining extra yards after the contact. He can make plays from anywhere on the field. Anyone who ends up with Dalvin Cook is going to get one heck of a football player, but a great leader in the locker room as well. And you know how we feel about our locker room. NFL free agents and their agents have used Miami annually to help improve the market. The running commentary is that the Dolphins owner, Stephen Ross, is bidding everyone better bid higher, and Ross actually likes the reputation because it usually provides him a seat at the table when high-profit players become available. This likely is one of those situations that's not a leverage play, considering Cook has dropped more than his share of hints that he'd like to play for the Dolphins, which includes 2 Dolphin-centric social media posts the day it was announced that Minnesota planned to release him. Cook claims learning plays and diagnosing a playbook is the easy part. His focus is on getting his surgically repaired shoulder healthy and getting himself phenomenal shape for the next month. I'm all fixed now. I'm all fixed up now, he said. You know what you're getting out of Dalvin Cook. As soon as I step foot in the locker room, I'm going to be the best leader, the best teammate, and I'm going to show that by my actions and how I carry myself. So some people are hearing what Dalvin Cook had to say in his interview and think the Dolphins are out of it. Oh, he wants substantial contract. He wants 10 plus million. The Dolphins aren't going to do that. He wants to play somewhere at home. He wants to get the ball. He wants this, and the Dolphins aren't going to get him the ball. The Dolphins have too many running backs, and he's not going to want to share the backfield with these running backs, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Not true. None of that's true, and I didn't get that from anything he's saying. If he comes and plays for Miami, he's going to get the touches. Yeah, but what about Tyreek Hill wanting 2,000 yards? That's great aspirations for Tyreek Hill, but it's not going to happen. And I think he knows it's not going to happen. But even if you look at it, he wasn't that far away from 2,000 yards, and Jalen Waddle still got 1,000 yards. And Raheem Mostert still had 800 rushing yards. You see what I'm saying? All of this is still possible. And especially with the Miami Dolphins and with the way this offense works. Because this offense was fast. And this offense is made to be fast. Let me pull up the Dolphins stats. So Raheem Mostert had 891 yards off of 181 attempts. When it came to receiving, Tyreek Hill was about 290 away from 2,000. And Jalen Waddle had 1,356 yards. So we almost had 2,000 plus yard receivers and almost had 1,000-yard rusher in Raheem Mostert with 891. And he didn't start 2 games. And he missed 1 game from injury. Another reason to add Dalvin Cook. So to think he doesn't want to come here because he's not going to get the touches is just not true at all. It's just not the case, because you're still getting the touches. The ball's still being spread around, because again, we had 2,000-yard receivers and we still had almost 1,000-yard. He was 109 yards away from being a 1,000-yard rusher last year. Raheem Mostert. 4.9 yards a carry behind the offensive line we had. So then why would you want to replace him? Because it's Dalvin Cook, Raheem Mostert. Why not put them together? Why not have them in that 21 formation? Why not have them on either side of Tua Tagovailoa? Why not have the depth? The thing that the Dolphins struggle with year in and year out is depth. Jeff Wilson got injured, Raheem Mostert got injured, and at some point we had Savon Ahmed taking carries. All of a sudden you have depth. You have Dalvin Cook, Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, and Devon Achane. That's a ridiculous depth at your running back. Why do you think Vic Fangio is saying what he said at the presser? It's not about the starters. He has no problem with the starters. He talked about the good players playing good and will win. Those are your starters. It's the depth. We don't have depth at defensive tackle or linebacker. Adding Dalvin Cook, all of a sudden, we have great depth. So, and again, the Dolphins are interested. I don't know how many times there's been articles and there's been people coming out and saying things, but like Barry Jackson, he had an article that came out today. Running back Dalvin Cook, who was released from the Vikings, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. But the Dolphins are not believed to be offering what Cook sees financially as $10.4 million. But the Dolphins have shown interest in Cook several times this offseason. Cook has interest in playing for Miami. According to a source with direct knowledge, the Dolphins have shown interest in Cook several times this offseason. So again, all of this stuff is coming out, all of this news, all this information. Bottom line, bottom dollar, bet your bottom dollar that the sun will come out tomorrow. If Dalvin Cook wants to play for the Dolphins, he's going to play for the Dolphins. Plain and simple. The Dolphins have interest in Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook has interest in the Dolphins. Dalvin Cook is in no rush because of the next 6 to 7 weeks of no football. The Miami Dolphins are in no rush, because they have other things to take care of, and the training camp doesn't start until 6 to 7 weeks. Plain and simple, right? That's all it is. Now, do I want Dalvin Cook as a Miami Dolphin? You bet your sweet Aunt Bippy. He will make this team better. He will make people fear the run game. He will make people fear when he's in the backfield. And then all of a sudden it opens up the offense even more. Play action becomes an even more threat because you're play acting, if that's the word, to Dalvin Cook. So those safeties can't drop back. Those linebackers can't drop back. We're facing the Chargers week 1. Do you think they're not going to sit there if we don't have Dalvin Cook and say, oh, we're just going to drop our guys 10 yards back? We're just going to protect the center of the field because we know what their offense likes to do, like to push the ball down the field. All of a sudden, you add Dalvin Cook to that situation. They can't do that. Because, okay, say we do pass. You have Dalvin Cook go out, run a quick route, you dump it off to him. He's going to get those yards and get that first down. You know how we know that? Because he did it against the Dolphins. So plain and simple. Do I think Dalvin Cook is going to sign with the Dolphins? I don't know. I'm not sitting here saying, yes, he is. I'm not guaranteeing you he will. I don't know. It's a very fluid situation. There's no, oh, it's not happening because he said this. Oh, it's not happening because he said that. No. Nowhere, no how is that true at all. It's very fluid. The Dolphins are going to keep contact with him. He's going to keep contact with the Dolphins. And then when he's ready to sign with someone, he's going to make a decision based off of the information he gets. But do I want him as a Dolphin? Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. Because why wouldn't I? Plain simple. Say the best corner became available. Kader Kohou did really well last year. Really well. He was like a top-ranked corner, like top 15 ranked corner. But Jalen Ramsey became available. So you're going to tell me we're not going to add Jalen Ramsey because Kader Kohou did well last year? You're out of your mind. And we added Jalen Ramsey. You see what I'm getting at? Raheem Mostert was 100 and something yards away from 1,000. But Dalvin Cook just became available. So you're going to tell me you're not going to add Dalvin Cook because Raheem Mostert actually did pretty well last year? You're out of your mind. That's the equivalent. See where I'm getting at? That's where my thought process is. Let me know yours. Comment below. I know where a bunch of you guys are at mentally when it comes to this. But now with the new information, again, 6 million might do it. 7 million might do it. There's a lot of fluidity. And again, he doesn't want that 1-year contract. He wants the stability and the security. So I could see them give him a 2-year contract, have a nice signing bonus. So the cap hit this year isn't that bad. Cap hit 6 million this year, right? Signing bonus, 4 million. That 4 million never sees the Dolphins cap space. That's from Stephen Ross saying, thank you for signing for the Dolphins. Signs a check. Then next year, he has an 11 million on there, but only about 2 million is guaranteed. So they can move on from him. But at that point, he continues to play well. Give him a contract extension after this year. If not, you move on from him. But again, I'm not good with making up contracts in my head, but I think that sounds pretty good to me. I don't know. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. And I will see you guys maybe tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Sure, why not? But I'll see you guys in the next video. Like usual, stay classy and fence up.